It's just static and noise, ready to just let go. Then the pain in my heart heard that voice.
Hey everyone, welcome to Kingdom Builder. I'm your host, Kelly Meade, and today I'm joined by one of our 2025 artists to watch on today's Christian Entertainment, who's just released a brand new live version of her album, The Breakthrough. Grace Graber, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. I'm solid. I, surprisingly enough, just started drinking my energy drink, so I'm waking up. But I am so honored to be here, and oh my gosh, why did you guys choose me?
Well, it's awesome to have you on the show, and it's like I have been impacted by your music over the past year, ever since I heard Grace of God. I kind of just came across it last summer. I don't remember if it was even through social media or a mutual friend or what, but I just like, oh, this is such a cool sound. And then I dove in a little bit more and it's like, okay, yep, this girl's pretty cool. Love what she's doing. You've got such a fun style that's like a pop punk, kind of reminiscent of Paramore and Avril Lavigne that I know so many like of our generation grew up with. So really cool to have that with the message that each song carries that can make such an impact on listeners. So yeah, it's awesome to have you on to talk about everything today.
Oh, I love it. And I know we had a little mini combo before this, and it sounds like we have a lot in common as far as music being our safe space. So I'm really excited to chat.
Yeah, since some of our viewers, they might be meeting you for the first time, and you have such an awesome testimony to share. So I'd love to hear a little bit about it, as much as you're wanting to share, and also how God has worked in your life through so many things.
Yeah, so when I was 12 years old, I was physically and verbally assaulted by other girls in middle school. And then it got so bad, I had to get taken out and homeschooled. And I developed PTSD and undiagnosed depression from it. And then at the age of 13, I started having suicidal thoughts and suicidal tendencies. And right before I was planning on taking my own life, a song just got stuck in my head at the right time and told me that I wasn't alone, and that God would be there forever. And that is I woke up the next day like, oh my gosh, what on earth was that? Because I was truly planning on like going through with it, and it was chaotic. It was just a chaotic night. And to find rest after that, to find rest, especially from a song, I became obsessed. I had to know what the heck happened. So I became obsessed with the band Hawk Nelson, who wrote the song that saved my life. Became an absolute fangirl, obsessed, and the way I coped with my PTSD and depression was by, and being alone. Like I went from going to public school to nothing. So the way I coped was watching video blogs on YouTube and just becoming obsessed. These bands became my friends. They were the people I talked to. They were just photos on my wall, but they were who I connected with. And I would go to concerts and I would meet these bands, and they were so nice. And I could not understand why the people who knew me wanted to hurt me, but these people who didn't know me loved me so well. And they taught me about who Jesus was. And that's how I decided I want to be a Christian. I want to be like that. I want to be like them when I grow up. So I am like them when I grew up. I am the result of not it's so funny because everyone always tells me I sound like Barlow Girl or Super Chick, but that's because that I don't actually sound like them. That's only because they were the only female-led things back in the day. But I'm the result of a lot of boy bands from the tooth and nail realm. And I'm that fangirl who was in the front row, obsessed, and I created an entire career off of it. And I feel so lucky that God chose me. Like, I feel so lucky that I get to now make a similar impact. I get to release songs that sound like those days. And God has put me in a place in people's lives to be that friend. Yeah, that's my short little testimony as far as like how God is like continuing to work in my, oh my gosh, girl, I don't like, that's a heavy, I feel like every day he's teaching me something new. I have learned recently that if I am not focused on being in the word and being in the present day, like presence daily, I am gonna fail. I am going to fail and I'm going to feel like I'm failing. And so the Lord has just drawn me recently just back into his word and his presence. And I think it's easy. We were talking about social media earlier. I think it's easy with social media nowadays to compare and think, oh, I'm not doing anything right, or I'm not doing this right, or I'm not like, there's no right or wrong way to do anything. And it's when we start getting into social media instead of the word that we start, of course, feel like we're failing, because we are if we are doing that. So so the Lord has just drawn me back to the word. And I always thought people were like cheesy whenever they would say that, but it's kind of true. By just taking a moment in my lunch break, even at work, I would do work a full-time job, so that's another fun fact about me. But I've been taking time in my lunch break just to open the Bible and just sit and read a chapter, and just that alone, getting my brain just on something, it's just been so beneficial and helpful for my own faith. But yeah, I'm literally a fan. I'm a fan first. And that's something I've been preaching because I recently met Jason Dunn, who was the lead singer of Hawk Nelson. I felt like a dork. I felt like, oh my gosh, Grace, you're 29. You should not be this obsessed still. You should not be crying on your way over to meet him. You should not be like this. But I think it gives me a little bit of an advantage to this career thing because I am a fan first. And so I do have those crazy fans that DM me every day, and I have the fans that send me stuff, and I know some artists who would complain about that, but I've learned that that was me. And I have this like just this really deep understanding of them that I may not feel special to myself all the time, but I'm darn special to them. So I think that's like the cool advantage I have, is because I'm such a fan first, and I just deeply become obsessed with things. I understand. So it's been really fun to like have a career and then meet people and love on people and be able to understand them a little bit. So that was long.
That's totally fine. I love how music has been such a huge part of your own personal faith journey, and how you are able to connect with people on a different level in that way, because like you said,
Yeah.
you're a fan first. I am like that as well with a lot of different artists.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's hard because sometimes when you've been listening to somebody for like 20 plus years, some of them, it's like, oh my goodness,
Isn't that
you're
crazy? Yeah, like, am I crazy? Like, I'm like, I have a full-blown career. I'm technically an industry professional, and I'm gonna go meet Jason Dunn, and I'm flipping out. I'm crying. And I think we have to, like, anyone in the music industry has to understand how special it is. Like, we forget because there's always the next thing. We forget, and it's what we're doing is so completely special. What you're doing is so completely special. I could give a rip about the views right now or anything like that, because someone out there is struggling, and they know they can DM me. They know that I will have the resource to get to. It's just, I could give a rip about the numbers right now because we are something important to someone. Anyways, I can
Yeah.
go on about that.
Yeah, there have been so many times when like God has used either a verse at the perfect time or a song at the perfect time that has just kind of, broken through my walls and my, things that I thought I had taken care of, but then it's like, oh no, I still need to deal with this and take it to him.
You know why? Because God perfectly fashioned us. He knows us. He's perfect. And how cool is it? Out of all the people, he got to choose me, Hawk Nelson's #1 fan. A song saved my life. He got to choose me to keep the genre going. Oh, what a God.
Yeah, and that brings us to how you started to record your debut album, The Breakthrough. So I just have really enjoyed listening to that. And now you've released the live version of several songs from the Breakthrough album. And a few that have really stood out are like Solo and As I Am and Superficiality, Breakthrough, and More Than a Miracle. It's really hard to narrow it down because I just really enjoy the full album. And you've got these full on like pop punk, anthems. Then you have other songs that are these beautiful ballads to really bring us into a reflective time of worship. So I would love to know what some of your personal favorites are from the album. And are there any that have come to mean a little bit more to you since you've been able to get out there singing them?
Okay. So what was so funny is we just started releasing singles and it built into an album. So me and this is like the coolest part about the breakthrough that for me, when I moved to Nashville, I wanted to be signed the next Christian music artist that made it. I wanted to be, and when I did the Conversations EP, I actually wrote a lot of those songs before the Conversations EP because around the Conversations EP, I was getting more into the mental health realm. I had some reels blow up around mental health online, and so I realized, oh my gosh, I think people might want me for me. And so the breakthrough is funny because some of those songs we wrote during a season where I was still holding on to this idea of I wanted to be a classic CCM artist. And when I went through the Conversations EP and realized I might want to do something a little more alternative to that, I had all these songs written, like Breakthrough and Solo, that I was trying to like, how do I fit pop punk into the CCM realm? Like I wanted to like make it palatable, and I was almost like bending myself in order to like be liked a little bit. I felt like just sound wise. But me and Blake really looked at the Conversations EP, which did much better than we anticipated, and we said, heck, let's turn these CCM sounding songs into like into anything we can do to make it more like the genre we want to get into. So like Breakthrough was flipped on its head, Solo was flipped on its head, and then we had people start pitching us songs like Superficiality because The Light did really well on the Conversations EP. That was like the song from that EP that just rocketed. And so I just noticed the Lord bringing opportunity after opportunity for me to pursue the more pop punk sound. And that's always kind of what I wanted to do. So the breakthrough was a big realization, a big breakthrough in my career that I did not have to prove myself anymore, that I could come as I was and I could just be me for a second and be present in this moment. And that's like, if we just let the Lord use our broken pieces, because all of those songs, if you think about them, they're so different. It's telling a story, but it's also not. Like, they were a lot of just mismatched songs that we tried to fit together. I'm not gonna lie. But thinking about the analogy that I used when I announced the album was a disco ball, where it's like God takes this broken mirror and he refashions it and shines light on it, and it reflects in all different areas. And so I think the Breakthrough album is really cool because it reflects on all different aspects of a Christian walk, of a girl who is trying to figure herself out. So there are these really great, fun songs, and then there's More Than a Miracle. And if you're like me and saved, and I think it represents that disco ball so perfectly. But it was a lot of those songs I look at differently, because when I first wrote Breakthrough and Solo, I was thinking, oh, I want to try to get into like the CCM sound, and I want to try to get, but when Blake was, and Blake's my producer, and he has been so inspiring and just going, what if we tried this? What if we tried, this sounds like more like you. And it changed it for me. And then live, it changed it even more, because what could have been like a fun pop song is like suddenly, with driving guitars and real drums, just more alive. And that's how I want people to feel when they listen to my music, is alive, whether it's worship or, so I think like every song on the album has looked differently. I think The Signs has been the most surprising, because of like social media right now. It's doing the best on social media. Superficiality was also a shock. That one I did not write. So it was like the first time I was promoting a song that I didn't write. I'm trying to think. Oh, a song just kind of wasn't even going to make the album. If You're Like Me. So I had Blake and Joseph O'Brien, who Joseph O'Brien and I wrote that song together. And I asked Joseph to produce it because he produced Grace of God. And he said, no. He said, I don't think that's your best song. And I said, fair enough. Blake, will you produce the song? I don't know. I don't really want to do it. Okay. And my guitar player, Ross, who had never produced for like me, he had barely produced for, he had produced a couple people, but nothing like crazy. He was literally there when Joseph and I were talking about it, and Joseph said no, and he said, well, I'll do it. And the response to that song is really cool, because it is special and it needed to get out, and the Lord found a way to get it out. And then it also grew the relationship with me and Ross a little bit. He's producing more songs on this next album. So every song is really transformed. If you think about it, Superficiality has been out for 2 years. Grace of God almost out 2 years. Like these songs have been out for a while. So it's been really cool. Grace of God, I think, was also surprising because I didn't know I could write a song like that. And that was actually, like, I brought that song into the writing room with Joseph, and we wrote it at Apple Music, which is like just so cool, and it was my birthday. So it was one of those things where it was magic, and it still feels like a magic song. It's the Holy Spirit, that's what it is. So I want to write more songs like that. Yeah, I don't know where else to start. I think what's crazy, I just think it's crazy that I was able to do it against all odds, like against financial odds. So I'm independent, so I financially fund everything myself. The Lord has built me a team that is so flexible and easy for me, and loves and believes in what I'm doing. And then there's just been so many God things that I, honestly, like, I have to sit here and just praise God for all of it. So all of the songs, really, I just noticed that I felt like this was my debut, in the fact that I'm still getting to know myself. It's my freshman year, like I'm new meat. And so now I'm really excited about sophomore year because I kind of know myself a little more. And I have a little bit of an attitude about it. I think there's still gonna be those good slow songs on this next record, but I think now I kind of know what I want to say and how I want to relate to people more. And yeah, I don't know if any of that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. I love how God can just, like, he works through all the creativity that he gives us, and especially with you as an artist. And like you're saying, how some of the songs you didn't really know if they were going to make an impact, or some of them weren't even going to be on the album. But I think that in a lot of ways, God will orchestrate things where the perfect songs do make the final cut, and it'll speak into the lives that it needs to speak into. And I just love how he uses us that way.
You know what I've noticed is it was easy. It was hard. It was really hard. But now looking back on it, like all the hard moments, like God made a way. And so, like, even with the next upcoming songs, it's just been easy. Even with this next album, like, I may or may not have the whole title track behind me right now. But like, like, with me and the people that God has put in my corner, it's just been easy for us to make these songs and to speak the message because he wants it out, and we believe in it. And what's just blown my mind is the fact that people will put people in your corner to make it happen. Like God has just he's just fashioned my team so perfectly that honestly, Kelly, honestly, I hope I'm not successful for me, but for them. Like I hope if I get any recognition, it just gets some more work. It just puts them a little more out there. Like it's been so just incredible. Like even some of the stuff that I have coming up with some collaborations and stuff, like some of these people like no one knows about, and I just really hope people do, because it's incredible. You know, it's just so God. It's so God. This is all God. I'm sitting here going, I don't know what else to say. It's just God. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And you've been out on tour this month with Seventh Day Slumber, which that has to be such an awesome experience for you. And can you share a little bit about what it's been like and what some of your favorite moments have been?
Yeah, I mean, it's been terrifying. It's been good. Yeah, no, I mean, you're like not up against, but you're opening for a very well-known band, up against a very hard rock sound. So it's been so funny. Like all of my friends in CCM think I'm totally rock and roll. Like I think Joseph O'Brien described my ice cream. He said it would be an emo ice cream. And I'm not emo at all. Like I'm not dark and mysterious like these people. So and then up against them, I'm nothing. I'm bright pink up against them. So it's been really fun to hone my craft. Like this is the first time I'm living on a bus, and it's the first time that I am handling everything on my own. So I'm running my own tracks. I'm a one-woman show on stage. I'm running my merch. I'm doing it all like on my own, and I'm really proud of myself. And I feel like after this tour, I'm ready for anything. And just even after the album, I'm ready. I feel like the Lord's got me in this season where I'm coming into my own a little bit, and I'm realizing like all of the excitement and the chaos is kind of wearing down, and I'm able to now sit in the gratitude and sit in the fact that like no, things are like this is happening now. Like it's not something I'm trying to work towards or get to. I'm not trying, like I have a career. I forever it was like I want to have a career. Now it's like no, I have a career. So it's been having this opportunity to open to Seventh Day Slumber. It's just solidified that career mindset where no, it's happened. Like I can't reverse it. I've established a brand and I've established fans, and there's no going back now. So
Well, that is awesome, and I love getting to see like how you're just getting started in a lot of ways, even though you've been at this for a while. But like you're saying, you continue to learn and gain more experience, and I think it's just going to continue to grow, and that's such an awesome thing. And we were talking a little bit earlier about how like concerts especially, they've always felt like a safe space for us, and I really think it's cool how now you're able to provide that for the listeners out there.
That's such a kind compliment, because it's like it's so funny. It's so funny when something does become your career and it becomes work. It's so hard to stay in that mindset. But my intention with any show is to be present. If you've had me out for the day, you're gonna get me for the full day, and you're gonna be annoyed, and you're gonna know me by the end of the day. You know, like that's my brain and my mindset. And again, it goes back to how lucky am I out of all the people the Lord chose. Even if I'm just starting out, because I have been doing it for about 4 years, but the reality is it's a 10-year town. It's a 10-year, like people usually figure out who you are after 10 years. Like Chapel Roan, she's been doing it for 10 years. And I'm fully prepared for that to be the case for the next 5, 6, 7 years, for people to go, oh my gosh, I just found out about you. I'm so ready. But how freaking dope is it that out of all the people, God chose Hawk Nelson's #1 fan, and now I get to do stuff like sign my name next to their name on walls, and share my story. And then also like people don't know about like all the old, like people don't know that the Newsboys lead singer right now used to be in a band called Stellar Cart. People don't know that Jordan Feliz was a huge icon in the Christian rock scene before he did CCM. People don't know that. And so it's been really fun to be like the dorky little sister who's like reminding these guys and humbling them a little bit. But it's also been, as a fan, so cool for like the drummer from Stellar Cart, Jordan, messaged me. And he said, "Hey, enjoy this." And I just gotten done with my first run from like Seventh Day Slumber, and I'm not gonna lie, I was so exhausted. My brain was just boggled. I was overwhelmed. It's terrifying, you know, being on your own, and I'm learning. And when he said that, he said, "You're gonna think about the next song, the next tour, the next run, the next studio." He said, "You're gonna think about all that. You have to enjoy this, Grace." I didn't ask him for any advice. He literally just said, "Hey, if I could say anything." And then that's also the advice Jason gave me when I met him. And so I feel like it's my due diligence to stay in the word and be present at all times for the sake of those men, like for the sake of my heroes, because now they get to kind of relive it through me a little bit. Like, it's been fun. Me and Dan from Hawk Nelson, we chat, and I send him photos from venues that they used to play, and it's like, I know they're kind of reliving it through me a little bit. If you think about it, like, how cool is it that God picked me? That's like my brain right now, is like, out of all the people, he could have picked, you know, the cute one in the front row, and he picked the one who I used to look like a dude. Like, I had short hair. I was so, like, just dorky looking, and now I'm, like, freaking gorgeous, and I get to sing songs on stage and dress up. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's just really awesome to see. We have so much to look forward to still. You mentioned you have some collabs coming up, and
I know, girl.
you've
Okay,
got...
can I be real? I'm low-key. I know the Breakthrough just came out in August, but we're working on 2026 right now, and it's so good. And then not only that, I know what's coming in the next couple of months. We're almost done with the single in July, but I have a release in March and a release in May, so every other month essentially. I have a release every other month. And they're good, and I'm kind of obsessed, and I don't know what to do because I'm promoting this live album. And girl, I'm kind of like freaking out because I'm like, I'm just ready for all these other songs to come out and talk about those. But also, I know I gotta talk about these. Girl, it's chaotic in my brain right now. There's so much happening.
Yeah, and so much to just be really excited about. And you've got these live videos coming along with the
I know,
live album. So many things.
They're cool. They're so cool. Like, I know I released my new logo recently, but like, I'm still like, my old logo's in the background of these, and it's gorgeous. And it's just like, it is truly, I feel like the Lord is truly speaking to me what those guys are asking. Enjoy it. I know the pace. I know how to do things now. I'm not oblivious to how things are done anymore. And so now, as an artist, I know this turned in, I know everyone's just getting to know me, but this is just me in my present moment, I guess. Like, is if the Lord has prepared you, the Lord has prepared you. Do you know why he prepares us? So that we can sit in his presence as it happens. We are supposed to be prepared because he wants to be in it with us. And when we aren't prepared, it's hard to be present. And so the fact that when he prepares our hearts for things, it's because he wants to be in your heart during that season. It's because he's giving you peace because he wants to be there with you. And oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's another amazing thing, like when we can tell that it's a God-given gift, a God-given talent, God-given dreams, everything that he's put it in our heart for a reason and a purpose. And the purpose is to turn around and use it to serve him and to give him glory and to help point others to him. So that's just such a cool thing.
Can I talk to whoever's listening? If you are listening to this and you have a dream, that is not an accident. If you are listening to this and you feel like there is something that's been on your heart for a long time, that is not an accident. You don't know how it's going to work out, but the prayer I pray every time something's laid on my heart is, Lord, give me favor and make it easy. Lord, give me favor and make it easy. Because if you are willing, service, here I am, Lord, send me. He will send you. However, when I go, hey, send me, but make it easy, he does. And some of the things that might look hard are actually they're just preparing you for the next season. That dream that you have, whoever is listening, is not an accident. And you need to do everything in your power, everything you possibly can to make it happen. The Lord is calling you to something, but unfortunately, let me tell you something. It means action. It means taking a step, not just in faith, but sometimes our faith grows stronger by what we do. And I'm not saying that God judges us by what we do. That faith will always be enough. However, what happened for me was I finally got off my butt and I did something. I had a dream to do music for a long time. And when I was presented an opportunity to do it at this capacity, I got off my butt, got 3 jobs, and paid for it. I got off my butt. I learned how to promote myself on social media. And so whatever God is putting on your heart, He has all of those resources. You just got to go find them. It might feel hard, but you got to do it, because guess what? Then you get to be that lucky winner. You get to be the one with a golden ticket. You get to be the #1 fan of that thing. And then now you get to do it. Like, that's incredible. Like, I also, even though all of this is like, oh, it's totally God, I'm not going to lie. It's taken a lot of hard work and a lot of nights where I felt burnt out. I do work a full-time job on top of this music career, and they allow me to go on tour and come back to a job. That is flipping favor right there. I'm not going to stop my job just because music becomes a lot. I'm not going to stop doing music because my job becomes a lot. I have to figure out how to work hand in hand. And so whoever is listening and you're like, I don't know what to do, just do the next best thing. Just do the next best. There is no perfect way to do this. God will open doors. Pray, Lord, I need favor. He's going to provide favor. However, He's waiting for you to take that leap, that step.
Amen. Oh my goodness. Yes. Putting our faith in action. So important. And I feel like we can just talk all day long. I think I'm going to have you on again when some more new stuff comes out down the line, because this conversation has been amazing. Love talking with you. I want to encourage everyone, visit gracegraber.com. Follow her on social media, because she is such an encouraging light on there. And just, I'm looking forward to what she has coming up. So I will link all of those in the description below this video. Be sure to check out all of the videos she's got coming out on her YouTube channel, and listen to the Breakthrough album and the live version everywhere music is available. Grace, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved this conversation.
Yes, love you.